Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Watch and Listen podcast. This is a show about watches. You can watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it on iTunes or Shout Engine. That's why it's called Watch and Listen. I'm your host, Matt Farah, and my co-host, Cameron Weiss, the master watchmaker, will be right with us as soon as I finish these words. This episode of Watch and Listen is brought to you by our title sponsor, Crown & Caliber, crownandcaliber.com. Crown & Caliber is the leading luxury watch retailer on the internet. It's not just a listing site where it's like a connect peer-to-peer thing. No. This is a real facility. All the watches, they have them, they've inspected them, they have a guarantee that what you receive is what you see on the internet. No bait and switch, no BS. It's great. But how do they get all those watches? Well, folks, they get them from people like you. Do you have an extra watch? You want to trade up, trade down, trade out, or just sell out? Hit up crownandcaliber.com. Hit up the buy trade section on their website. It's very, very easy. The process takes 5 minutes, and you hear back from them within 24 hours for an honest and guaranteed money purchase or trade price for that watch. I personally did a trade of 2 watches into 1 watch. I traded up with Crown & Caliber, traded a Rolex and an Omega for an IWC, and I could not be happier. I'm wearing it right now. Check out crownandcaliber.com. Use code MATT150 to get $150 off any purchase in the store, 1 use per customer. Woo! Watch and Listen podcasts. Also brought to you by Beeline Coffee, which, can you tell, I just had a big old cup. My AeroPress, the Smoking Tire Roast, I got my own roast. Weiss Watch Company Roast, Cameron's got his own roast. It's so good, we got our own roasts, folks. Dude, BeelineCoffee.com, single origin, delicious roasts, medium, light, dark, espresso, decaf, all your coffee needs covered. Anything on the site, small, big, anything at BeelineCoffee.com. Use code CHRONO, 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 for 15% off your total purchase site-wide. And now, this is going to be a great episode. My buddy Spike Feresten is on the show. Spike Feresten is a longtime television dude. He has hosted his own late-night show. He was a writer for David Letterman, as well as most famously, perhaps, for Seinfeld. Spike actually wrote the very famous Soup Nazi episode of Seinfeld, as well as many, many other classics. And he is probably, more than anyone, the person who got me into watches. So today, we're on the show discussing the explicit connection between our other passion, cars, and our other passion, watches. Here it is. Watch and listen.
How about with a microphone that's turned on this time? There
That's
you
how
are.
rowdy it is.
How are you, man?
Ill-prepared. I'm good. I'm happy. It's a nice sunny day here.
It is.
I'm driving around in my old Volkswagen and listening to the Beatles. What
Rolls
could be
up in a
wrong?
police car.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you guys are up to here.
Well, Cameron and I have just spent an hour discussing watchmaking school for an episode, which is actually was super interesting and good. And now I think it was good. It was fortuitous that I had you booked on this day. A, because you can primarily be credited for being the person who got me into watches.
Oh, wow.
It was definitely you. You pointed out that my Rolex was not a normal Rolex, that it was a special one.
The Frog Mariner.
It was the frog, the Kermit.
Yep.
And I was like, it's green. That was all. I was like, oh,
yeah.
it's not. And then you're like, no, that's special.
Mm-hmm.
And then that led me to be like, well, what other things are special to the GMTs? And then it was like, oh, there's other special things. And then I made the connection between watches and cars, which is what we are talking about today. And that's because of you.
Wait till you get into guitars, watches, cars, and guitars.
I've been through the guitars.
Don't look at any guitar websites, and
dude.
don't look at any motorcycle websites because you'll be screwed.
Let's
just leave it with cars and watches.
But it just so happens that I got back from this trip and this book arrived, and it's called Drive Time. Watches inspired by automobiles, motorcycles, and racing. And I haven't gotten through it, but I only went through chapter 1, but it's a beastie looking book with beautiful photography, and I can't wait to go through it. But that inspired this conversation because I get asked of all the questions that we get asked about watch on the show. Mainly, it's, dude, what does this have to do with cars?
Yes, exactly. What does it have to do with cars?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. It has everything to do with cars.
I think it does, and I think it starts with not just this historic association with racing that some watch brands have, especially Rolex and Heuer, the pre-tag Heuers, but also just guys like us who get bored looking for stuff on the internet, and suddenly, because if you think about it, on the computer, the car picture is just as big as the watch picture. That's right. They're the same. And
Instagram, it's 1-to-1.
It's 1-to-1, and it lights you up in the same way. I can't explain it. And then suddenly you need it.
It totally does. So here's a brief history that I got out of that beautiful book.
I love it.
This morning. 1893. Alfred Dunhill Motorities. Motorities is one of the best words I have seen in a minute. So back in the day, when you bought a luxury car, you would buy a chassis, and then you would have it outfitted by a coach builder of some kind, a Vignale or a Pininfarina or a whatever, and then you'd have other things, motorities, installed, such as gauges. So Alfred Dunhill Motorities had the first ever set of gauges for a car, which were not dashboard gauges originally, because there was no dash. Alfred Dunhill Motorities came out with the first dash clock in 1910 because that was when the first dashboard was.
And was it a Dunhill dash clock?
It was a Dunhill dash clock.
And is this the same cigar brand?
This is the same cigar brand, clothing, outfitters. Your dad's Christmas gifts have never been the same since Dunhill. It's the same Dunhill. Then... let's see, 1911, Heuer invents the first dashboard chronograph for a car. And then in 1915, JLC begins making dash instruments as well. In the 1920s, JLC supplies most luxury automakers. And oh, look, here we have some beautiful JLC gauges.
Look at those.
I think this is a D-type or a C-type Jaguar.
Beautiful. Yeah. And how do you pronounce that?
Cameron?
Jaeger.
Jaeger. You guys should do a whole show on how to pronounce these watch
Actually,
names.
we wanted to do a glossary episode of where I have to pronounce everything.
Right.
It's tough.
Because I was just invited to go to the Villa d'Este show.
Yeah.
By, I'll spell it out, ALANGESOHNE. Right?
Ilanga Unsunne.
Ilanga Unsunne. Yeah. Right. That's what I looked it up because I want to pronounce it correctly. And then I realized all of these watch brands are really hard to pronounce. And did he say it right? How do you say it?
I say Longa Unsun.
Longa Unsun.
But I don't know if that's right. That's just how I say it.
They made a big deal out of Sunne.
Sunne. Yeah, that's right. And I've heard it both ways. The problem is this one that's spelled almost like Mick Jagger, British Jagger, Jaeger is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Jaeger.
Jaeger.
Jaeger Le Colt.
And Zenith. It's not Zenith.
Zenith.
Zenith. Like Gwyneth.
I know.
I think this is holding some of us back from buying these watches. They should have.
You can't pronounce them.
Yeah, that's right. That's a beautiful gauge.
This is from a 1974 Alfa Romeo Montreal, and I love it because the needle looks like a middle finger as it sweeps past 5 grand.
It sure does.
And I call these the lying Jaeger because the speedometer in this car was wildly optimistic compared to my GPS. And then Zen. Oh no, did I wait? Where? Oh no, here we go. Sorry.
Oh, the Auto Aviation watch, the Autavia.
Autavia.
Now, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah,
Autavia.
As far as I know, yeah, that's
Auto and aviation put together, 2 words.
1933. Heuer invents the Autavia dash chronograph.
And that's what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing my new one.
The Spike and Feresten, please remove the watch you put under the microscope.
Okay.
Please remove. We don't hang up in front of the camera. We put on the
Sorry.
microscopes.
Here you go.
So there we go. Let's see the spiking.
I had the bracelet on it, but I found it too shiny, so I just requested the strap, the leather strap, and now I'm in love.
Right, is the bracelet
Perfect.
all polished?
It is,
Yeah.
and it's mistaken for a Breitling a lot.
Yeah, it's
which
pretty
is
bright.
a little disappointing.
we
So
go.
it's either time for Bamford to redo it, or I put this leather strap on, and I put
Yeah.
the leather strap on.
the
Although,
leather
did you see
works
Breitling
here.
did away with all the high polish now?
They did.
Their
Yeah.
new shit
Yeah.
is toned down a bit. I
Yeah.
saw at Basel this year.
They're
shit
doing
was
a
toned
brush
down,
finish
yeah.
on it now.
But I'll tell you, this watch, even though that you can see that strap, it's very thick, and it's one of those straps that you have to kind of play with it like a baseball mitt
Chunk.
for a little while.
Here, comparison: Rolex GMT case side by side, just for a thickness comparison.
Once it's broken in, it's just perfect. And yeah, it's thick.
thick.
That's the issue with this watch for me.
That's-
Is it's a little too hockey puckish,
it's
as they say.
THICC. It's thick.
That if they were really going to do a reissue watch, it should have been a little more like the Daytona, that slim 40 millimeter
Yeah.
perfection that Rolex just made.
But the more I look at it, the more I prefer this Autavia to the
I
Daytona.
bought this watch because of the Panda dial, and also to support this company that I love and this direction for them. I think once with a little more encouragement, they're going to start making these watches a little more like they were in the 60s and 70s.
It's very pretty, that watch.
Thank you. I like it. And for the price point, you can't beat it, right?
Yeah.
$5,900.
That's pretty good.
Beat the hell out of it. Have some
Pretty
fun
good.
with it.
Is it
Show the movement.
Is it tough, durable watch?
I'm going to find out.
Is this your in-house movements,
I'm
Cameron?
wearing it to a dinner with my wife tonight. so.
This, yes.
These are in-house movement, right?
Yeah.
Caliber. Is it caliber 11? Is what it's called? Is that the movement?
No, I thought it was the O2. Is that what the O2 in the Heuer is? Or
Yes, 02.
02. Yo, is it me or does the winding rotor on this wheel look like half of an Enkai lightweight, like autocross wheel?
Right? It does look
It
like a
looks
wheel.
like
Yeah.
an Enkai wheel.
wow, look at that.
It's a very pretty
This
watch.
is making me
right?
want to buy this watch again. Look at that close up.
I'll sell it to you now that I've got it in my hands.
This is one of the issues with watches. It's hard to enjoy them on your wrist as much as enjoying them on your podcast or in
Right.
photographs.
You were
or on
talking
Instagram.
mad shit about the video. Now you're into it.
Yeah.
Does it say Jeff Goldblum is calling you?
No. I wish that was Jeff Goldblum.
To continue our little relationship tale, the Gruen driver's watch, 1935,
Ooh, that's light.
first watch designed to be worn on the inside of the wrist.
And look how curved it is to match the wrist.
Yeah.
And so you could probably wear it with your hand on the steering wheel, right? And
Well,
put
think-
it on the angle
Yeah.
right here.
Exactly. Yeah, you think 1935, steering wheels were like pizza,
Right.
like Grumman
Yeah.
delivery vans, so you want to wear it on the inside, right?
Cool. Cool
Then
idea.
that led to the more common kind of canted, tilted driver's watch
Right.
like we've got now.
And
like
what is that, a Waltham or
That one's a Vacheron
This is a Vacheron,
Constantine.
actually.
Yeah, they reissued this watch. It was I don't know when it was initially from, but this is the reissued version of it.
They do they make this with the dial tilted in both directions? Because I wear my watch on my right hand, which eliminates. I would love to wear a watch like this, but I need it tilted the other way.
I remember when I worked there, we had people that asked that question, and I forget what the answer was.
Yeah, I
I'm
bet
pretty
it
sure we
was real
researched
fun.
it.
Is there a correct side to wear your watch? I thought this was a left-handed deal, the watches. What,
Well, it's
do you
supposed
have
to
a
be
right
your-
to
Oh,
wear
you
on the
just
right?
want to
It's
come on the
supposed
show
to be
and
your,
be a cop
your
bag?
non-dominant hand,
Non-dominant
so that it doesn't
hand.
get smashed up.
Non-dominant hand.
I am a lefty. I wear my watch on my right.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Vladimir Putin.
But
And
they're
I just
mostly
watched-
they're set up for the left hand so
Yeah.
you can reach
Yeah.
with your right, right?
Yeah.
They are,
So if
but
you're here, your hand isn't right.
I
so
know
it-
that's annoying, but that's life. I can
Yeah.
reach around.
But
I
it's
can
also
reach
doesn't
around.
that tell you watches are meant to be worn on your left
Eat a
hand?
dick, Spike.
All right. I'm just asking. I'm asking. I thought I was going to learn.
Have you been
something.
They
watching
are, yeah.
Wild Wild Country on Netflix?
No, not yet.
The
Should I?
Bhagwan wears his watch on his right hand.
Oh, all right.
So I roll with
Whatever
the
that
Bhagwan.
means.
And then the connection becomes explicit in 1972 when Porsche Design launches their first watch.
Lovely.
They're the first ever Porsche Design product. They now make all kinds of crazy, stupid shit, but this was the product number one, the Orfina Porsche Design watch. They then partnered with IWC to make this titanium heinous looking.
That is really hideous. That's a robot's
That
watch
is
from
a
the
robot.
60s.
And then in terms of the current state of the car watch literal on the nose comparison, I give you my press car, and
Oh,
a
yeah.
completely quartz integrated to the car, branded deal, IWC designed clock in the dash of my Mercedes press car.
Wow.
No IWC mechanicals or anything, just IWC dial. So that's
a free billboard.
where do cars and watches go together? Right there, folks. there's a history. No, there's
You're
the
leaving a
primary.
lot of lap times out, a lot of racing and lap times and timing cars at the track, and the need for a chronograph. Right?
That's where you were coming in.
I wish I knew about it. I was relying on you.
Well, so we've got 1963. Heuer creates the Carrera line of watches, which is the first line of watches that are named after a race. We now have the Daytona. What other watches are named after races?
Silverstone.
Is there a Monaco?
There's a
Monaco.
The Monaco,
Silverstone.
right?
Heuer is responsible for most of these, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
What other watches are
Not the
named after
calculator.
races?
That's not named after a race.
Is there a Targa? Does Chopard Millimilia
Yeah.
is
yeah.
one?
That's it.
I mean, that's a bunch.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Is there a Sebring? Is there
Is there a Watkins
is there a
Glen?
Watkins Glen?
A Breitling Watkins.
Is there an Imola or a Spa or a?
I bet it's out there on eBay. I'm
Someone's
sure
out
we could
there.
find a.
You're forgetting
some
about the
obscure
Swatch
watch.
Willow Springs
It's like
and the Tissot Thermal Club.
it's delivered dirty. It's just like dusty.
Yeah.
When you get it.
Why is it always raining here?
So you being a car guy and a Porsche guy, I think Porsche guys really appreciate the watch connection specifically. I don't know what it is about Porsches and watches that go well.
There's also a bunch of guys who've been photographed wearing these watches. So we have the Steve McQueen.
Yeah, are you?
Who's known primarily for his Rolex 5512 and his Monaco. Yet there's this guy, this Crown and Caliber watch that I took out this month to wear.
Hashtag sponsored.
Hashtag sponsor, and here's one of your plugs.
That's cool.
But it's true.
It's okay.
I originally bought this watch years ago because it was called the Steve McQueen, only to learn he really didn't wear it.
So I love that this is an Explorer, right? Rolex
this is the
Explorer.
Rolex
So the
Explorer
Rolex
here. You can show
Explorer,
it there.
commonly called the Steve McQueen, even though the evidence suggests he never actually wore one, and he was actually wearing it.
Some people are saying he did wear it for a moment, but it was really an antiquarian auction in 1999 that in Italy, I think, that had this auction going, had this watch, and they called it the Steve McQueen, and it caught on. Very early internet days, before the checks and balances, before the guys go, wait a minute, and you'd read that. So it kind of took hold before anybody could stop it.
Well, he didn't really, but it's funny that the rumor of him owning and it affected the market, right?
Right.
I mean, it didn't even really have to be true.
Well, I look at this watch. Now, I remember when I saw a friend of mine wearing it. Coincidentally, the guy who was just calling me on this phone. That's the guy who was wearing
Jeff
the watch.
Goldblum?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Let's just call him that. That 70s style blows my mind. When I look at that, I go, I just don't see this, or I wasn't seeing this in any new watches. So I went to him and I go, what is that? I've never seen this orange hand. What is it called? And he told me the story, and I said, I've got to get one.
What's the story of this orange hand? Besides, isn't it just a GMT?
No, just
It's
the
a
watch.
GMT.
He said, here's what it is. They call it the Steve McQueen. It's blah, 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 blah. But it's a Rolex Explorer, Orange Hand Explorer. The new ones don't have that orange hand. I just lost it for the design. I just immediately went, I love it. Almost like when you meet a girl. The first thing that you see about her is, God, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then you go out on a date with her and you go, this is great. That's kind of how I approach this watch right here.
So a friend of mine just bought an Explorer with the intention to beat the ever-loving shit out of it for the next 20 years.
Right.
And that's, I think, what they're good at.
Well, this is an expensive watch. I bought mine probably around $9 or $10,000 15 years ago.
I'm talking about the non-Steve McQueen, like just the new one.
Right, the new one.
Yeah, the 42 mil. This one is like one's
These
special.
are probably up around 17 or 20. That
Shit,
appears
really?
to be a service dial. It doesn't look like an original dial on it, and also the bezel looks to be like it's been refinished or polished. It's a nice example of a beautiful watch, and I'm sure they have it priced accordingly. When you get into the originals, I think they're up even higher. Like $30,000, right? But you would know better than me.
I don't know if that's a $30,000 watch, but okay, sure.
For 20, I'd buy it all day long.
Seriously, you're fucking crazy. I don't know.
Well, it's it's just what I love.
I know.
It makes me happy to wear it.
I know. What else did you bring? What else do you love about car? Most of your watches actually are car sort of
Some
inspired.
of them are. Some of them are. Here, this one.
I like those little pouch guys you got there.
Definitely. Let me see. This is my
you
new
wanna-
Hodinky pouch. Here, you can open this one up and
we'll
just take it out
we'll
right
side
from
note
there.
to the ultimate car watch, right? Has to be brought up. The Paul Newman Daytona.
Yeah.
$17 million.
Yep.
15.5 plus.
Do you know
plus premium.
So how many people said it would never even get close to that? Wouldn't even break a million.
What did we talk about at Bill's? What was our number? 10?
My number was 15.
Your number was. I think my number was 10 at that discussion.
And
at
everybody
Bill's.
was laughing at us.
Yeah.
And we were like, "You don't get it. There's shit going on." Now this is a Heuer
have we here?
Autavia right here in Siffert colors. So technically not a Siffert Autavia, but named after Joe Siffert.
Joe Siffert is an interesting story because he basically was an F1 driver who was also a Heuer dealer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and the Joe Siffert is the reason that Heuer watches were used in the movie. What do you call it? Fucking,
There he is.
You know.
Le Mans.
Thank you.
Yep.
Blanking on that. Yeah, he was supplying the watches.
Right.
And that's where they came from.
So there you go. So now here's a guy who's racing cars, and he's got a picture wearing this watch, and now everybody's he's winning, and you want one.
Yeah.
I want everything that he's got. He's a winner. He's driving fast. What is he wearing? What kind of shoes? What kind of underwear? I'm buying it. And there he is, Joe Siffert. I'm going to shave my mustache like that too, if I can.
Oh, that one can only hope. But
Yeah.
the watch is beautiful.
So
right?
those are the traditional Siffert colors. They're also reissuing this watch. Tag Heuer did a what do they call it? You work with a little like these. With Caliber 11, which is a collaboration with Caliber 11, and I think they're in Australia, and they made 100 reissues of this watch using the platform of the watch we just saw, and they sold out in I think 48 hours.
Sweet.
And it's going to be that coloring right there, I believe. I think with 2 black subdials.
Very cool.
But beautiful watch, and I'm excited to see the new one.
Yeah.
And that's got that what we call the Core Fam strap. Let's have some strap porn there. Oh yeah.
Oh, with the
Look
punch,
at those holes,
speed
baby.
holes, speed
I don't
holes
know.
in
That's
the
just called Core.
Yeah, in the import tuning world, these would be called speed holes in your bumper.
And I think I bought this years ago from vintageheuer.com. You know, I was searching like a madman for old watches.
Yeah.
You know, before they were really being celebrated, just because I liked the way this stuff looked, and I would see them on eBay and then start, searching for the real examples and the experts, and you'd go to onthedash.com and suddenly you just start buying stuff.
Did you have a definitive moment that you got into watches? Is there a watch that made you like watches?
Yeah. There is a Tag Heuer 2000 that I would see every day in the window walking home from my job writing for David Letterman. Where I'd walk by, and right before I turned the corner to my apartment, and this would be in the 90s.
Would that be one of these?
No, it goes beyond. It was a chronograph from, let's say, 1994.
Pull it up.
That's wild too. It looks. It reminds me of the Breitlings with those elements on the bezel.
That's a different.
Right?
That's a slightly different model. Mine is just a regular black dial with white letters and white. See, that's got gold on it. I would never do anything like that. Now I would, and it had a black strap. So I saw that watch every day. I just saw this pretty watch in the window that nobody was buying. And here I am, a guy, no family. I had a cat. I had nothing to spend my money on. I'm making pretty good money writing for David Letterman. It's pretty cheap to live in New York at the time. And I thought, I'm going to buy this shiny watch.
In the last 20 years.
I'm gonna buy a watch. I had been wearing swatches up until that point. I thought I'd buy something meatier. And I walked into this store and I bought that watch, which I still have. Tag Heuer just restored the whole thing. They just made it look perfectly new, and it's going to stay in my collection. It's the first one.
You had it restored to
I did.
perfectly new. And now that doesn't actually sound like you, Spike. I thought you were a preservationist, not a restorationist.
This watch, I just thought would be fun to have new like it looked the day I bought it. I never wear it. I'm going to probably give it to one of my kids.
Yeah.
But to me, it just represents, like many of my watches, these interesting little moments in my life. That's my scrapbook, that collection of watches. I look down and I go, I kind of know where I was in life for each of these watches and what each watch kind of signifies.
Do you ever get to a point where you realize this is too many and have a little clearinghouse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it? Do you think that it's healthy to ebb and flow, or do you think
to curate?
Would you rather have just kept it a tight knit group from the beginning?
No, I think it's important to curate.
Why is it so important?
Because one bad watch will throw you off. So here's what I do. I have the briefcase, right, with maybe 25, 26 watches in it. That's the one. That's the major leagues, right? These are the guys who are going to play, and then the slop bucket, which is the same briefcase in a different place. And that's just got a bunch of stuff that might be getting sold and or very inexpensive things. Okay. So it would have the Hodinkee Swatch, for instance, that they made for $150 but they only made 150 of them. That automatic swatch deal that they sold.
Do you ever go, I'm going to wear that swatch?
I wear it all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That one is very usable. My kids love it because it's got this like Spyro gyro thing on the bottom. And I wear it to the gym a lot. All right. You can look up that watch. If I'm not wearing stuff, I get rid of it. My rule is if I haven't picked this up in a year, it's going. And there it is. Yeah.
Is it?
So that's not something I'm going to wear, out to dinner or take to Italy or anything. But I like the tech in that watch. I think it's the System 51, so it's made of 51 parts.
Watch.
And I'm a big fan of Ben Clymer and Hodinkee, and I like their one-offs.
It is not a bad-looking watch.
Yeah, their collaborations are interesting.
In LA, watches are pretty durable now, and you can wear like a pretty nice watch while doing most things. You don't need to be like, oh, I'm going for a hike, so let me take off this.
But don't you get with cars, it's a lot easier for me. With watches, I'm still getting acclimated to the whole world, and I don't frankly know that much about them, but. Don't you have fun kind of deciding what watch to wear in what circumstance?
Yes,
and
I do.
Isn't it still a little dark?
I do, but I find that the higher end I go, the lower end watches I tend to not wear because I don't.
That's true.
Do anything formal ever.
What about for me? It's like, hey, Dad, come play football in the backyard for us, and Eric is like, being in 20 minutes.
Okay.
that's that watch.
The swatch.
Right
there.
That's that watch right there.
I'm with you. I don't have a kid that wants.
Now I did this thing at the Peterson over the weekend for the art group. I hosted a panel with Rod Emery and a bunch of guys, and they're like, "What watch do you wear in that situation?" Oof. I wore this guy.
It has to be a racing watch.
The Heuer. No, I just thought this is good. This is kind of the Porsche community is not as ostentatious maybe as some of the Rolexes, so I thought this is the right one. And it was a good match. People enjoyed this watch, and I enjoyed it.
I just went to Leno's garage for a thing with you.
We were there.
And saw Bruce Meyer wearing the goldest of Daytonas.
Oh,
and
that's
his friends
awesome.
were wearing the goldest of Daytonas.
See, I think that wearing was a mistake on his part. I think he should have toned that down for that situation. That's an incredible watch, but that to me is Pebble Beach. Unless that's his only watch and that's all he wears, which that would be super cool too.
It was very interesting because it was gold Daytona with a white dial and it had an alligator strap with a gold Rolex clasp on the other. Like one of these clasps on leather. Not like a locking clasp.
That's a pretty special watch, actually. They don't. So there's certain dial configurations you can only get with the leather strap.
Okay.
So that's one of the things with the Daytona.
Let me see if I can actually find it. Maybe
I'm obsessed with.
And
gold
you see
Daytonas
how
right
the case is different.
Yeah.
At the top
there
it's got that little faux kind of end link looking thing.
Yep, there it is.
So you've actually
that's
got
a new
different
watch.
Look at that clasp. The clasp it's dope with the leather.
Yeah.
But we can't forget that Bruce Meyer has a Rolex dealership.
Yeah.
Oh, does he own a Rolex store?
He's got Gary's, so he's the Rolex dude. Actually, of course he's got to wear a gold Rolex.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I totally forgot about that.
That's the right.
And by the way, we should be exploiting that
Totally
to get some of these new watches that are coming out.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
Call me.
Yeah, you should have him on this thing.
Really should.
Yeah. And that's where I got my Batman. That's where I got my GMT. Was
Okay.
Gary's right there in Century City.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right,
so that's why he's wearing that one.
That makes a lot of sense.
Get the Bruce discount.
Yeah. Is that in typical? What is the 911 driver wearing? I think.
I don't know.
I think a Daytona is the most 911 driver.
Do you know what? I see
watch.
guys just with using good taste as far as choices. They're just making smart choices. So it's vintage Rolex. If they're really into it, you'll see some vintage Tudors on them, and then it's the Heuers. And then it can go in different directions, but it's usually vintage. Something vintage that has a beautiful aesthetic to it.
We just had John Ward in here, and he showed up with a case of 32 vintage watches.
Oh yeah, well that's
and he can't stop himself.
That Bulova he has. I love.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
you have anything else?
Yeah, I've got other watches
here. What else
here.
did you bring?
This is another just favorite of mine that I just put a new strap on. This is my 1680, which I find to be a very humble, useful watch in my collection. And that's a watch strap I saw on Instagram from a company called McQueen, I think.
How do you spell it?
They're in England, but I just here, I don't know. We'll find out. You can probably look it up. They had that watch with that strap.
Oh, there we go. McQueen.
Right.
Thanks. MOLE.
Yeah. I just like their photography. I liked that watch. I wanted to do something different, so I took the bracelet off it and I bought that. But I think that's here. Pull back a little bit so they can see the green. You want to see that?
Green.
Look at that. See?
That
works. I've been craving something Rolex in green.
Rolex, a vintage Submariner on a non-original strap is the new hotness. Everyone's doing it.
I'm doing
it. My Kermit's on leather
now.
Right
Look,
now.
this goes back to New York City. So when I was first starting out in New York City, I was driving a truck for J. Crew. And I was the truck driver who loaded the props onto the truck in New York City. They said, "You know how to drive a semi?" I went, "Yep." I was just lying.
How lying were I? Was about to say how lying were you?
Completely lying. And we'd go with a bunch of models. You'd go down to Long Island. There'd be a bunch of models there, and there was this cool photographer guy, and he was wearing an old Rolex with a green crocodile strap that I was just staring at dinner every night, going, "What is this thing on this guy's wrist?"
Yeah,
I was hypnotized by it. And now I was finally trying to put it together when I bought this strap and this Rolex.
And
I thought I need to do that.
This is as close as you remember to that.
It's not exactly what he did, because at the time people were buying really small vintage Rolexes. They were 36 millimeter.
Real old ones.
And that's not a croc strap, obviously. But this is my tribute to that guy's watch.
Here's that strap company.
Yeah.
With some serious materials usage here. I don't know about these. Personally, I like it a little simpler, but you're about that?
Okay, on the left.
I like the ghost bezel on that. But
see, I would take that strap on the left,
which
that
is a
croc strap, right?
Dark brown crocodile.
And I would get a white gold vintage President Rolex, and I would wear those two together.
That's a good look.
I'm kind of craving that.
I like that.
And I also like what's going on there in the center, too. But I like the bracelet on my Daytona.
Very nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
And here's the only other guy I have.
What else is that?
Another watch I lucked into because I liked the way it looked. This is a watch that my neighbor was wearing, and I'm just a sucker for everything silver and blue. Whoa. So I tracked one down, and when I bought this at Wanna Buy a Watch. I went down there. I said, if you ever get a blue dial Tudor Submariner from the 70s, let me know. And he goes, we have one. This one's called a Marine Nationale. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And he goes, well, it was used by the French Navy, and they're pretty rare if they have the decommissioned papers, which it does have. And I said, well, I don't care about that. It says, if you turn it over, it says MN77 on the back. I said, I don't quite care about that association, but yeah, I'll take the watch. And it was $2,000.
Really?
Again, because I like the way it looked.
That seems like a deal. That seems like a really
considering the watch is worth north of 30 right now because of that association. It is the greatest deal I've ever made on a watch.
I like how it says case by Rolex. Wow.
Yeah, it's a super cool
original. Is this the original Oyster case by Rolex?
It's a military issue Rolex, and those things have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of just bought it because I liked the way it looked.
What year did you buy that for?
2006.
Wow.
2006, and it was the same time that I bought a Tudor home plate Monte Carlo. These guys were just going, buy this stuff. It's rare, and I was just taking their word for it, and they weren't lying. They were not lying.
But
I just love how that watch looks.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
What do you think about?
I think it was normally worn on a NATO strap, but I sourced that bracelet from a guy recently in Canada, a dealer who sold a vintage Tudor Submariner to somebody who said, I love the watch, but I don't want this original new old stock bracelet. Take it off.
Wow.
Was upset by it.
Wow.
Yeah. And
what is it? Yeah.
That was $1,000.
For the bracelet?
Yeah, just for the bracelet.
Yeah, bracelets are like... I just went into the IWC store because I bought a perpetual Sans original bracelet.
Right.
I got from Crown and Caliber, and I got a great deal on it, and I got a discount because they didn't have the strap, and I don't think the strap is particularly good looking, the original one, so I didn't really care. But I was walking past the IWC store in Beverly Hills yesterday, and I popped in, and I asked, do they carry the strap original for this watch? Yes, they do. May I see one? Yes, I may. And I held at it and looked at it, and I thought it was an average-looking leather strap with contrast white stitching and 2 rivets in it. And okay, how much is this?
$800.
$800.
Yep.
$800. I said, I'm sorry, $800. I was like, well, and he's like, well, it is a blah blah blah, whatever he said, and I was like, I can buy a baller strap for $120. I can buy 6 different straps for this thing.
You
know?
can. You can.
What's the difference?
I did that at Panerai.
Yeah,
I did the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes it's fun with the
well,
right
look,
watch.
if it's an actual,
I wouldn't do it with an
Oyster-
IWC.
No,
though.
if it's an Oyster bracelet, or a real Rolex bracelet, they're tough to come by.
Yeah.
And they have a price on them.
People
but
are making bank with straps right now.
just for
They're making
leather,
money.
though, don't overpay
No.
the ridiculous markup for leather straps.
No,
That's
that green strap that I just put on was about $100, I think. That's all.
$100 is about as much as you ever need to spend.
And it's great. It's really thin. It's really comfortable, and it gives you that new watch feeling. I open that box now. I go, hey, I got a new watch for $80.
And how you change straps a lot, don't? You're a strap
Not
changer.
a lot, but I do switch things out, and a lot of it's driven by Instagram photography. When I see somebody's idea or I have an idea myself, I go, all right. It rejuvenates your love for the watch when you put something
It's
new on.
almost as good as getting a new watch.
It is
You
almost
get that
as good.
same little adrenaline shot.
I think it's kind of the same if you love the watch. It lasts about the same amount of time. It's 1 or 2 weeks of novelty, and then it gets old, right?
Yeah. That's the problem with any new.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I just had a jolt myself. I went to the Grand Seiko store on that same block. The opposite of IWC attempting to get me for $800 for a strap is I walked into the Grand Seiko store. Which is awesome. If you haven't been in there yet, go in the Grand Seiko store on Rodeo. It's awesome. They have an amazing selection of new and vintage and very rare stuff. Wow. And the experience of hanging out in there and playing with it is very cool. They're very helpful. But I wore my Grand Seiko, and the guy, Michael, who was in there, who was from Japan and came from Japan to work in this store, had never seen one. And he was like, what is that? I've never seen that before. And I was like, that's a jolt. When you wear something in the store and they're like, what's that? I've never seen that. Wow, that's awesome.
That's great. That does happen, though, because some of these watches, the dealers don't get them. I was at a Rolex dealer wearing my new Daytona, and they were like, how did you get that? Can I see it? I'm like, come on. Why? You guys make 2 million watches a year. Can't you just make more Daytonas? We know you're playing a game with us. We know it. Just make the watches.
What do you think about the new... GMT. Sorry, I was trying to get an image at the same time. I was.
Well, you know what I think. I think this is a very smart move on their.
Where is it? Where's my picture?
Is this one?
Yeah,
want
there
to
it is.
type in
Thank you.
Basil
No, this
in,
was
too.
it. I'm sorry. I just was trying to. I was trying to do things like too fast, and oh boy, not zoom in on this picture. There we go.
I have the
Pepsi
5512.
Yeah.
And when I got it, it had a Jubilee bracelet, but I didn't really like the way it looked. So I got rid of the bracelet, and it's just been on a NATO strap ever since.
I am told that this
That's a really
Jubilee
blurry
bracelet,
picture, by the way.
I know, because
Yeah.
it was a small one, and that's a sucky picture.
If you type Basil in when you do the search,
all right.
Just go to Rolex's website. They have them up there already.
no, that's too long. They have too much video that has
I'm
to.
sorry,
scroll up.
people.
Well, they want a clear image. There you go.
There it is. Where is it? Where's the best image?
Oh, you see, you're being tricked.
There.
That's the old one.
That's the Batman?
No, that's
No,
the old one.
He clicked on the wrong one. That's why.
Because I'm an idiot.
Go up. See where
There.
it says
There you
Basil?
go.
There. Here.
And by the way, there's that weird Tudor. That one doesn't look as good. Oh, look at that.
So here now, and they launched a Tudor
Right.
as well. How about that?
It doesn't look as good as the other watch, but it's the right move. As far as I'm concerned, the uninitiated just fan of this company, because these white gold watches that look like this, nobody's paying $35,000 for a watch that everybody thinks is stainless steel. So they said, well, maybe we're not selling a lot of these things. Maybe we should make a stainless steel GMT.
So my
right?
dad just a month ago bought the white gold.
Oh,
Pepsi
he's
GMT.
bumming. He is bumming.
He and then they came out with this one that looks just like it. Now I'm told,
And
the
this watch is
Jubilee-
going to be what, $9,000?
Yeah,
right?
and I'm
Somewhere
told
there.
the Jubilee bracelet is not interchangeable. So you can't put the white gold, the Oyster bracelet on, so to make yours look like the white gold. But did you see what they did to the white gold? The new white gold one has a blue dial.
I didn't see that. Show me that one. Is it a GMT, you mean?
Yeah. It is. Boy. Dude,
Yeah,
it
so
is
now
so ugly.
It looks different.
You got to put Rolex in there, though. Is that it right down there?
Probably. Where is a blue dial?
I didn't see.
Here. No, that's not blue. No, where's the blue? Oh my God, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I'm
Are
sorry.
you sure they made this watch? You didn't just
Yes.
imagine it?
Yeah, they
Yes.
switched.
Cameron, back me up here, please.
Yes, same
Hang
watch,
on.
just blue
Hang
dial
on,
now.
I'm not going to make the
There's
audience.
the Daytona, that blue dial Daytona.
I'm not
which
making
I
the
love.
audience suffer through it. Where is it?
Here it is.
Here.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay, here. I finally found it. I apologize, audience. So,
Right?
in order to make the white gold people feel better, the new white gold they ruined by putting this ugly blue dial
Yeah,
on.
it's a little tough because it doesn't match, and it's like it makes
Right.
the bezel look too purple.
And so now if you want a white gold, you have to buy one of the better looking older ones from
See,
my
I
dad.
like that.
From my dad. Which is
I'm craving really. Type in green dial Daytona.
green dial Daytona.
A green dial gold Daytona.
Oh,
I'll
God.
show you what I'm craving right now, and it's like golf pants. There, right there.
Yeah.
Any one of these guys. This to me, this is what I'm dreaming of
Holy
right now.
shit.
Look at that thing.
Holy St. Patrick's Day.
I am. Well, first of all, I am Irish. I'm an Irish citizen. I'm from Massachusetts.
I just had the conversation with someone 2 days ago about who was in shock that you weren't a Jew.
I might be a quarter Jew, and I'm mostly Irish. But I really want a yellow gold watch, but I don't want a champagne dial. And I thought maybe this
Wow.
this or
Is
the
this
yellow
new?
gold GMT with a green dial that I might try.
Is that new? Or is that old?
There are two versions. This is the brand new one. But look at that.
It's real intense.
It's intense, but, I'm headed into my old man period. I think I can wear really crazy old man watches.
I was going to say, is it weird that I'm like 36 now and my friends are about the same age? Why are we starting to talk about buying gold watches? What happens when you turn to 36?
No, it's not. We're getting tired of stainless steel watches.
Is
and
gold
we're
coming
looking
up?
at yellow gold, and as you know, I took that yellow gold watch from Crown Caliber, right?
Yeah.
The Day-Date, the
Yeah,
40
yeah.
millimeter, as an experiment to see what would happen.
And what happened?
There are lots of people, as you're talking to them, that were either staring at my dick or they're staring at the watch. And I'm guessing they were staring at the watch. And when you're out in public and you're talking to a woman and she's looking down at this watch, now I'm married, happily married, but it did imprint on me. I went, damn, this is a version of peacocking, like with a car, that
Right.
if you were a single guy and you had some money and you were looking to meet somebody, or you were looking to make an impression in a business meeting, this watch makes a very big impression.
That's so funny.
It does. It works, and it does something. I don't think the people looking at it were going, God, that's beautiful, and it looks good on you. I think I'm a little intimidated by you. It's a power watch, and I don't know. For that's useful to some people.
I read a review somewhere of that watch, and they were just like, I have never had more people staring at me, and it's a pretty simple.
It's true.
It's a simple watch. It's not a
How many people come up to you and talk about the stainless steel watches?
Zero.
Zero. Just me and you
None.
talking to each other, right?
That's what
And
I
other
always
guys.
joke that I've spent now hundreds of thousands of dollars to impress basically 3 people.
This is like, I don't know much about suits and shoes, Briones or whatever, but this watch functions in a very let me display my success way, right?
So my
and then
friend Carl
that
Ruiz-
interests me. I don't understand it, but it interests me.
My friend Carl, completely unashamedly, I was like, what is it about the crazy? And he's like, I like wearing trophies. Simple. He likes
Yeah.
wearing trophies. This is a person who's very aware of himself, and I like it. But
Yeah.
that's like, that's our man jewelry. That's what we got.
It does work. Whatever work means. Like, I sold that watch right off my wrist to Zuckerman. I
Wait,
said,
you
"There's
sold
nobody."
you sold the gold one?
Look who's calling right
Oh
now,
my gosh.
Zuckerman. At this moment,
You want to put him on speaker?
You want to see how he
Put
talks
him
to
on
me?
the mic, yeah.
Just wait. Watch.
Yeah. Put it next to the mic. Hang on.
Yes.
Shit, yes. Yes.
You piece of human garbage.
You awful. You waste.
I'm sitting here with Matt Farah.
Zuckerman, we're recording you.
We're recording you on the podcast.
God.
And literally, we were just talking about the yellow gold Day-Date that I sold you, the Crown Caliber watch, right? You're
And I
wearing it.
wore it. I'm wearing it right now, and I feel like $1 million.
There you go.
Zuckerman, do you feel like people are staring at you because you're wearing it?
I don't know if it's because I'm so fucking ugly or it's the watch. so I'd like to think it's the watch.
It shows how successful you are in this personal injury law firm. When people come in, they sit down in front of you. They go, "This guy is going to win my case. Look what he's wearing on his wrist, a gold brick."
That's it, and that is exactly true. They need those kind of cues. They need
on
that
the
help
phone,
in that
Paul
direction. Now, by the
Zuckerman.
way, Feresten, I was talking to Dave Altemus, and he says that you did a great job.
Oh,
at
that's
the
nice.
Peterson.
Yes, that's nice of him to say. We have pictures of you up on the screen here.
We're talking to Paul Zuckerman right now.
There he is.
That's a pretty good one.
It is.
And I like it. The camera got me from the side, so you could perfectly see the bullet-like head I have.
I'll tell you what, he photographs well. You combine that face with a gold day date, and ooh.
Well, look, he
I
got
wanna
the black
fuck-
suit, he's got the white shirt and the purple tie, gold day date. You're hired. I'm telling you,
There you go.
it's a winner. You're having a nice experience with it.
I love it. I'm glad.
That's good.
I'm really happy that I have that watch. And in fact, while you guys are talking about watches, my son's going to be 17 in 2 days. But for his 18th birthday, I want to get him a watch. And he's a good kid. He studies hard in school. He never does anything wrong other than not taking out the trash.
You got very high SAT scores, as I understand
That's
it.
right.
He did
Doesn't
very
smoke
well.
weed. Doesn't smoke weed like a
Yeah,
lot of
you
people.
know. Yep.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
A lot of successful people smoke weed, Paul.
Exactly.
That was directed at you, Farrah. That was directed at you.
It was just a window into his own guilty mind.
So
'cause I don't have a
I'm
day
thinking,
date.
I
All
mean,
right.
I think of these Tudor watches. Are
Get him a
perfect
Tudor
for him,
Black
right?
Bay. Tudor Black Bay is
Boy,
a good
that's
18-year-old.
I think we did get you one.
Congratulations watch.
Didn't we get you the Tudor Black Bay? I bought you one of those for him.
You know what? And then one of my associates liked it so much.
Oh, you
he
gave it
bought
away.
it from me.
Oh.
I didn't give it away. I sold it to him because you're right. And we were going to put that away for 2 years until his 18th birthday. So
Right.
at least you guys are consistent
There
in
you
your
go.
thinking.
With our advice.
and they're making a lot of different variants of
The
that
bronze
same
one.
Yeah,
The bronze one is cool.
The green one from Harrods.
Yep.
Do you see that special edition they did there? That's awesome. Well, I'll help you with that. We'll find Dell a nice watch.
Okay, well, when you guys are off the air, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Zuckerman. Bye. Paul Zuckerman, ladies and gentlemen.
That was great.
That couldn't have gone better.
Could not have gone
Actually,
better.
I heard him perfectly in my headphones, too. I hope the
Yeah.
audience gets that one. But yeah,
Well, Zuckerman, just so you know, is the co-host of my show, Spike's Car Radio, and my friend. And he's a lawyer.
He's the
And he likes cars.
He's the best.
And now he likes watches. He's another guy I've infected with the watch bug.
Well, I think the best watch story that you have to tell is the Vic Elford Vic Elford Rolex. Can you?
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
Okay? Tell the Vic Elford
Yeah.
Rolex story.
Well, that starts with Jerry Seinfeld buying Vic Elford's car, right?
Famous racing driver Vic
the
Elford.
car that wins the Daytona 24-hour race in 1968, right? Which is a 907 Longtail. Is that what it is? Porsche 907 Longtail that he
Sure.
buys at auction. Yes?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
Google that to make
Okay,
sure because
you-
I'm going to get in trouble
Okay.
if I don't get the car right.
Okay.
And he pays, a lot of dough. Yeah, no, that's not Vic. That's Civic.
Let's just keep going. I'm working on it.
He wins the car at auction. I think it was a Gooding auction. Yeah,
That is a 907 Longtail.
There it
Yes,
is. Beautiful
correct.
car
Porsche
that he's
907.
had. He's restoring, and this is I don't know how many years ago.
Porsche's first ever overall win in a 24-hour race.
Right. And the fella who owns it is not Vic Elford now. It's some collector who I don't know his name, but he offers Jerry the watch
To match the car.
that Vic Elford was given for winning that race. The first 24-hour race that Porsche has ever won, by the way. Is a Rolex Daytona from 1968. That's what they award the winners. It's and now go ahead. I want you to type in Vic Elford Rolex Daytona right there, and watch what happens. You're gonna see a picture come up very quickly of Vic Elford. There he is. Next one over. Next one over.
This one here? Oh,
Yeah.
holding it.
There
Yep.
he is
Okay.
with his big
Here's a
cheese-eating grin.
good-looking man holding
Okay.
a good-looking watch.
Now, those of you who collect Rolex are looking at this picture going, well, he bought the watch, right? And I believe at the time the watch was offered to him for $25,000.
Oh my God! It's so,
And
so
Jerry said-
it was so overpriced.
So overpriced. And look at the picture for winning, right? Provenance is everything with these Rolex Daytonas. Provenance is everything. And Jerry goes, I'm not going to buy it. I don't like Rolex. It's too richy rich or some such shit that he said. I said, Jerry, you're making a huge mistake.
And
you're making a huge mistake. I just talked Jerry into buying a Siffert Autavia, right? I just talked him into it and to just looking into this racing provenance with these watches. And he had just bought that, but he said, I can't, in good conscience, buy a Rolex. And that was it. End of the conversation. 2 years later, this guy calls him up again, or he bumps into him at a car show. He says, I want you to, you want that watch? I'll sell it to you right now. And Jerry calls me, should I buy it? I go, what's the price? He goes, it's $50,000 now. I go, well, yeah, well, that reflects what's going on with Daytona is they're getting expensive and people are collecting. He says, well, what should I do? I'm like, buy the fucking watch right now and get it. You're not going to be sorry. And if you don't want it, I'll take it. I will buy you out of this watch instantly. I'm not going to do it, Spike. And he starts complaining. It's like when I talk to Jerry, there are two Jerrys. There's the Jerry who asked the question, and then there's a Jerry number 2 that gets activated sometimes.
It's like
he gets
the
mad at
Prestige.
you. No, it's two different guys. Like he goes, should I do this? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, why would I do this? It's a trap. It's a trap. 4 or 5 years later, we're out at Bill's, and I'm sitting with Bill, and he said, so I've been offered this watch again. And I said no. And I said, Jerry, why do you keep saying no to this watch? But tell me the number. He goes, the guy wants $150 for it now. This is a few years ago. And he goes, what should I do? And I go, you should call him and buy the watch. I showed him some of the watches, what they were selling for at Phillips Auctions. I said, this watch rightfully belongs to you. It was offered to you originally. Frankly, it should have come with the car when you bought it. But remind him of that history and just at least try to get him down to 100 or 125. But trust me, you're going to make money on this watch.
Stop banging on the table.
Well,
They
I'm
can all hear
angry.
you.
I
They
got-
can all
I'm
bang
angry.
on your own face. They can all hear you.
Okay, so Jerry goes, all right.
I'm not going to buy the watch, Spike.
I'll do it. You think I should talk him down? I'm like, yeah. So he buys the watch. He buys the watch for less than Lynn offered. Makes a nice deal on the watch. And then for like 8 months after, every time he comes out to LA, we're like, where's the watch? He goes, it's held up. It's still not here yet. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And then finally, on the third time he's out, we go, what is going on with this watch? Where is it? And he goes, it's being held up through customs. Actually, it's in Fish and Game. And I go, Fish and Game? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't know. He goes, talk to Sam. So I call Sam. Sam's his car,
Handler.
consigliere. Sam and Jerry have bought all the beautiful cars in his collection. He's a car expert. He really knows where all the good stuff is, and he knows how to look at welds straight on done. Amazing guy. So I call Sam. I go, Sam, where's this watch? Doesn't know shit about watches, though, and this story will illuminate that. He goes, well, it's Spike. It's held up in the Fish and Game department because of that oyster bracelet. And I went, what? He goes, yeah, apparently the bracelet is made of oysters. And I go, Sam, no, that's just what they call it. They call it the oyster bracelet. It's just a bracelet. I just had a watch repaired in Hong Kong, and it came back in 3 days. And it's got an oyster bracelet. He goes, oh, well, that makes sense. And he goes, I filled out the paperwork incorrectly. And
He filled it out as if there was a box of seafood.
he didn't know, and that's fine. It's fine. He knows everything there is to know about Porsches, and he's made us all a lot of money. But watches he didn't know. And after we cleared that up, the watch arrived, and Jerry sent it off to Ben Clymer. I introduced them, and Ben did an incredible job looking it over and fixing it because Vic had sent it off to Rolex to be restored. So there were a lot of things.
No.
Yeah, I know. So there's some things that weren't
Don't
correct.
do that.
Jerry and I didn't know what to do and how to make it nice. Jerry was also very upset in its condition when it was first delivered. We talked about that
That
on
it was
my
kind
show.
of beat up.
Yeah, it was kind of scary looking, and not
Really?
knowing much about the brand, he was a little worried. He called me a little angry, and I
He
just
bought
said,
like
"Calm."
the most fucked 356 ever and didn't seem to care.
Well, he looked at this thing and was like, "I'm never gonna wear it. It's awful. It's all scratched."
She's not going to wear it. That's not the point.
Well,
You don't
that's
buy that to
why
wear it.
I'm not done with the story.
Oh, okay, continue it.
I said, you're crying like a little baby and you need to shut up and you're going to make a ton of dough on it. And he went, okay, all right, I'll calm down. But, this happens with cars and watches. watches. When you spend a lot of money on something and it comes to you, you do feel regret and fear sometimes. And this watch, the crystal was all scratched, so and not knowing much about watches, he panicked, rightfully so.
Meanwhile, for like $100, you can make the crystal fresh, probably, right?
Well, we sent it to Ben Clymer, and he goes, first of all, I said, Ben, do you know this watch? He goes, yeah, I know of it. And he goes, where is it? I go, Jerry just bought it. He goes, you're kidding. He's got it? And I'm like, yeah. And he doesn't know what he has. He goes, I'll take care of it. So I introduced them. Jerry sent him the watch. He freaked out. He's like, I can't believe you have this. It's changed hands. And they polished the crystal. They replaced and put all original parts where there weren't, and they made it perfect. This watch is perfection. It looks brand new right now, but it's got that Hodinkee watch shop blessing to it. And now, when Jerry comes out, he has it in a little box. He brings it out to our table out in Santa Monica. I'm out in Malibu, and he wears it. He wears it now.
Oh, he does.
He wears it. He hands it to us to wear. He'll let anybody wear it. It's a fantastic and it's an incredible timepiece. If you go back far enough on my Instagram, go to my Instagram, see if you can find this little picture.
I have your Instagram.
Might take you a second to go back. You're going to see a picture of me wearing it next to the picture of Vic Elford wearing it.
All right, hang on.
You're going to have to go back quite a ways.
But
it's worth a shot. It might be a couple years.
Years?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck. I'm not.
You won't be able to. But if you scroll down, you'll find the picture. And we have a lot of fun with that watch. And he wears it like a regular watch now.
Well, when you're a billionaire, you can wear a $100,000 watch like a regular watch.
I don't think he's a billionaire.
If he isn't, he's fucking close, and you know it, so shut up.
Go down. But he wears it, and he lets other people wear it, and now he has it near the car.
See this one right there?
Is that a bear on a 356?
It does look like a bear.
I think that's a bear. I don't know. I can't find it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you won't find it. But
it's a Daytona. It's his Daytona, and that makes
it the one. It's what makes these watches valuable. That provenance, that story. It's an incredible watch. And
that's a crazy story.
He's going to make a lot of dough.
And that's why I like watches. That whole thing of having your own watch, and eventually maybe there will be somebody that cares about the story behind that watch that you have.
Right. Well, Clymer was saying he goes easily high six figures for that watch now, probably more.
Yeah,
after the Paul Newman watch.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
And look at all the stress and hassle I had to endure making this guy make $1 million. It reminds me of when I made him buy Steve McQueen's 917 for about $1 million.
What are you doing, Spike?
Oh, why am I buying this? I can't own this. That car's worth about 30 now. So yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep complaining, bud.
Well, thanks for coming down, Spike.
That's it. We're done.
I think so.
All
what
right.
else you got? You want to tell us more watch stories?
No, that's it. I'm done.
I think I
feel like I could come back another time and we'll talk more about other watches.
Well, I think we've made the connection between watches and cars on this program, haven't we?
I hope so. Yeah,
definitely.
I think that connection is still being forged. Frankly, there's some racing history there, some chronograph timing. And I think we're defining that next little era.
Well, I think that even today, I mean, look, you've got Rolex and Tudor sponsoring racing series. You've got who's sponsoring the sailboat racing? Omega sponsors sailboat racing. Breitling sponsors the air racing.
Yeah.
I mean, you name a racing, any form of racing, there's a watch company sponsoring it.
Ilanga and Zun is sponsoring the Villa des Concours.
Oh yeah,
they are.
So they invited you out to hang out on their dime.
Yeah, they're flying me out to go to this show I've always wanted to go for my whole life.
Are you recording there or anything?
You're gonna try to weasel in on that?
Yes.
Why? Why would you do that?
Sounds
Why
lovely.
can't you let me just have this?
'Cause
you just had the 4GT, right? Am I trying to weasel in on that?
You could have. I would have said
I'm going
okay.
to. You
I would've
shouldn't
said
have told
okay.
me.
The car's gone now. Bye. No, I want to go to Philadelphia. Estate Lake Como is lovely.
I'm taking my wife.
I
It's our
understand.
anniversary.
I'm sure she wants to hear you talk about cars for 8 hours at Philadelphia.
There's going to be a lot of drinking and a lot of Germans. All things she loves.
Sounds really nice. Actually, you know what sounds? I might try and go to Basel next year. I'm following along on Instagram. It seemed kind of interesting.
We're all going there soon.
Are you?
I liked it.
Have you been, Cameron?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it worth going?
Only if you have appointments. If you do not have appointments, you will not have any fun.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's really like walking down a giant rodeo, but all the doors are locked
Oh.
unless you have appointments.
Oh. Well, that's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
All
So
right, we need
you
the
really
hookup.
gotta make some connections and get
the
some
only
appointments
watch
first.
I really freaked out over was this watch right
At Basel?
here. Yeah.
What is it? Tell me. I will type it in.
It's this guy right here.
Whoa.
This
I
new
don't-
Sin, which
Oh,
I've
yeah.
always loved their stuff. I don't know much about the brand, but I really like that watch. It's blue and silver.
That's this guy? Is that him?
It is the 103 SABE.
That picture.
Yeah, that's it.
That picture was not good. This picture good?
Yeah, but it's the wrong strap. I don't like that bracelet.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the picture you were on before. That picture right above it. See where it says 4 days ago?
Yeah. Well, it's oh, there
That
we go.
is, see,
Yeah,
that
it's
lit me
beautiful.
up. That
Sin is from Germany, right? Aren't they a
Yeah.
German company?
Mitt.
Are they part of
yes.
Are they part of a bigger group?
I don't know.
know.
You would know more
Cameron
than
would-
we guys.
Cameron
I don't
would
think
know.
so, but that's going to be an ETA movement,
Okay.
and then probably a German-made case. Everything else will be
Isn't
German.
that a beautiful watch?
Yeah.
See,
It
I
is
would
very
wear
nice.
that when I
Right,
get in
kinda
a
the-
small aircraft. That's when I
Yeah.
would wear that.
A little off-white on the numerals and the hands there for the loom.
It's
yeah.
nice.
It
I'm a
makes
fan
it
of
a
that.
little crazy.
Sin makes some good designs.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
We have a show coming up that we are going to do, which is entry level kind of luxury, which is like $500 to $1,000 watches.
That's a good
And
segment.
I have a Sin on that segment.
This watch is close to $3,000.
They
right
had
now,
one that
I
was
think
like
now.
$800. It's like the more basic one. I think it's like that. It's more. That's a Hamilton, but it looks more like that. Oh, here it is. That is sort of their entry level. That's less than $1,000. But I like the one you got. Oh, is this it here?
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, that looks lovely.
It's cool. And they have a nice little strap feature on their website where you can try the watch on with a bunch of different straps and bracelets.
cool.
And it looks good.
like
a
that.
configurator.
A watch configurator.
Yeah.
I like. That's a good idea.
I just don't know much about this brand at all. I
They-
just like what they do. I just
Yeah.
think they're pretty watches.
They're popular on the internet. When I browse watch forums and things like that, I definitely see people talking about Sin
Well, I
watches
like that
for
they're
sure.
affordable.
They've been around a long time, and they inspired a lot of other people to create watches that were similar or created by Sin for somebody. So they have a lot of watches that were Sin watches, but were dialed with some
look at
other
that.
brand.
Sorry to interrupt. Just right above that white dial watch, the 5 days ago. It says
This guy?
No, to the left. To the left.
Oh, here.
There it is.
Is that the
with
same one?
That's
Yeah.
the same one
That's
with
the same one with the blue leather.
strap.
Yeah.
See that?
I think the brown leather's
Ooh.
better. Blue leather? I don't know about the blue leather.
With a pair
I
of
am about the
jeans.
brown leather.
What? I wonder what material.
Sneakers. Oh yeah, Spike.
Oh, with old school dad Nikes and jeans.
With old dad New Balance and torn
Did you see
shorts.
my New Balances that I got
No.
on my Instagram yesterday, dude?
Is it okay to wear those now? Because I know there was that little white
Bro.
supremacist thing that was happening for a while.
No, check me out here. Here's my New Balances. The order for this quarter: BMW Motorsport 80s,
That's
and
cool.
then 80s Days of Thunder Mellow Yellow Cold Trickle
Wow.
colors. Those are my themes.
Those are wild, man.
my New
Good luck
Balances.
with those.
You're not about them?
No, I like New Balance. They're good company. From my hometown, Massachusetts.
What was that about the Sins?
I was just wondering what material that bezel is.
What did it look
Right? 'Cause
like?
it's
Wait,
blue.
Where was it?
Yeah.
Oh, did I?
Is it hard to make a blue bezel?
Well, I don't know what kind of treatment it would be if it was steel, but it might be
Is there another?
be
picture?
another metal
Is there a picture
that's
of it that-
anodized. But it also might be ceramic.
Anodized aluminum bezel, it says.
Here, anodized,
Anodized
aluminum,
aluminum, okay.
right there.
There we go.
And what does that mean?
Interesting.
Does that mean it's not going to be very...
So actually, your Rolex inserts on these old Rolexes, these are anodized aluminum.
Okay.
So it should fade.
Ooh, interesting.
You could end up with some sort of
end up with a ghosted
ghosty
Sin.
blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I was going to live longer than 5 years. That would be great.
Oh, you mean what? After North Korea drops one on us?
Yeah, this weekend.
That's
That's
all
right.
your watches outside. Instant ghost bezels.
When Bolton gets into the White House. What's this red button do?
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll come back and do a different topic, but I think
That was fun.
I think we have made a connection between cars and watches with this one. Thanks, Spike.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Spike's Car Radio. What days do you
Every
drop?
Wednesday we post.
Shit, every Wednesday we
On
post.
Podcast
Yeah.
1. I know, and we've had some of the same guests, a little overlap. Randy Nonnenberg, I heard.
Yeah, I love Randy.
I just had
though,
Randy on from Bring a Trailer, and who else did we post? Jonathan
John
Ward.
Ward,
John Ward.
Well, look, we got the same friends. What are you gonna do? I mean, we all have the same friends. We live in LA. We like cars and watches. There's like 9 of us. You know.
Okay, good.
Thanks for coming. Spice Car Radio Wednesdays at 9. Spike Feresten on Instagram. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Cool. Can I be on your show again?
Sure. Come by anytime.
All right. Thanks, folks, for this episode of Watch and Listen. We've enjoyed having you with us. Enjoy the rest of your day.